Let's get back to it.
This building is full of sluts. You would agree with that, wouldn't you, Amanda?
Wholeheartedly.
A UKIP politician has had the party whip removed after joking... removed from where? After joking that a group of female activists were sluts. Godfrey Bloom made the... by the way, how old do you have to be called Godfrey? Like about 100, 110, something like that? Does he wish to be excused? Godfrey Bloom made the comments while addressing a women... Priceless. I mean, you've probably heard this story, right? But do you know what the name of the body that he was speaking at was called? It was Women in Politics. He was addressing a Women in Politics event at UKIP's annual conference. Who even knew they had one? And what actually happened was they were talking about cleaning behind the fridge. I have no idea why they were talking about that. And a woman said that she didn't clean behind the fridge, and then some other women in the audience said, well, me neither. And he said that the room was full of sluts, to much raucous laughter. And challenged afterwards, he said it had been a joke, which of course it was. But he forgot that this is 2013, when all humour must be non-offensive to anyone at any time. But UKIP leader Nigel Farage said, and every time I say it like that, I'm imagining a wave of bad breath, just like cheese sandwiches and, you know, mixed with ordure. You're screwing up your face. You're imagining it too.
Sandwiches.
Mmm, so yummy. Nigel Farage said he believed disciplinary action should be taken since the row had overshadowed his earlier conference speech. What speech? More like, you know what, he removed the party whip, by the way, probably not because he wanted to, but because he had been cornered by journalists. And he had to take some sort of action, decisive or otherwise, in order to make it appear as though he was, you know, still in charge, or in order to underline the fact that he was still in charge, whichever you like. UKIP leader Nigel Farage said he believed disciplinary action should be taken because it had overshadowed his earlier conference speech. There must be a lot of people in this audience who had no idea that UKIP even had a conference, let alone that it was the big speech today. What did he say in the big speech? Does anybody have any idea?
Negative.
Of course not. Nobody got a clue, because it was all about Godfrey. Which tells you everything you need to know about the press in this country. It's not Godfrey what did it, it's the press. This was an offhand joke in a meeting that lady with a hand in the air.
That's not the only reason everybody's talking about Godfrey today, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. Have you seen the whack on the head?
Yes, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? But that's so people are talking about.
But that was pathetic. That wasn't a whack on the head. That was that was no more an attack than like this. Look, I'll do it myself. There.
I'll come in and do it for you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. If the person that he hit on the head with a piece of paper was a 3-year-old child, nobody would have taken an intake of breath. It was a piece of paper he hit him with, not the tree it came from. Where are we? UKIP chairman Steve... Oh, that should be a pop quiz. UKIP chairman, anybody? Steve Crowther. He later confirmed that the whip would be removed from Mr. Bloom, suspending him from formal involvement in party business. Of course, this doesn't affect his position as an MEP. And cue the comedy arm of the news-gathering business, which went into a Victorian fainting fit mode and started with their "Do you think this is acceptable?" line of questioning, like a 5-year-old whose sibling had just eaten his Easter egg. Do you think this is acceptable? It was just so funny. You've got to look up the video on the World Wide Web. I bet it's on YouTube. One of the women present, called Janice Atkinson, who is a prospective candidate for the party in next year's European elections, said she did not take offence at the remark. And she suggested that people were out to get Mr. Bloom after a string of recent controversial comments. Well, politics is so boring these days. Of course the press are going to fall on someone who is an actual unreformed character, someone with personality. Because politics in this country these days, it's almost as though you have to have your personality removed by a trained physician before... Lady with a hand in the air.
But what if it's not a very nice personality?
Well, who's the person to say it's what's nice or not?
I think the whole thing about the fridge cleaning comment is something that he said a few years ago, when he said that women don't clean behind the fridge.
Yeah, no one does.
Well, that's it. So why pick on women for not cleaning behind the fridge?
Well, it was probably just like one of those things that an old buffer says.
Well, that's it. And do they really have a place in deciding stuff, old buffers? I don't really think...
In deciding stuff?
Yeah, like politicians what do in that, innit? But I don't believe that people that have that kind of outlook...
Well, then that's everybody over the age of 50.
You're
everybody,
over 50.
well, yeah, except me. Everybody over the age of 50 grew up in a different era and speak and think in different ways. So
That's
this
true.
constipated PR, BS.
But not everybody has the sort of blinkered views that he does.
How do you know they're blinkered views? It was just a joke.
I don't think it was just a joke. I
Oh,
think that's
come on. Well, then
genuinely what he
why did the
thinks.
audience laugh?
Because they're in the same party as him.
So
And
the
because
women
they might think the same way.
So the women the women of UKIP are sexist
Yes.
against
Possibly.
women.
Women can be sexist against women, absolutely.
I think that you've got this PR bug. Not PR. What is it that I'm thinking of? This.
I don't know, Nick. What are you thinking of?
Oh God, you've thrown me now. I can't believe I'm dealing with a social worker. Oh, Struth. It's like being talked to by The Guardian. Everything must be non-offensive at all times, which cancels all humour, by the way. Apart from childish jokes like, why did the chicken cross the road? That's not racist or offensive in any way, unless you're a chicken. This is ridiculous. And the press know that it's silly, but they're playing it up because they've got nothing else to report. It's another one of those slow news days. And it's just comical. Watch the video. That hapless journalist who's trying to make something out of absolutely nothing at all, and the response that Godfrey gives was just hilarious. Well, I'll come to that in a minute because there's more. I mean, apart from the "Do you think this is acceptable?" like a rain of questioning about the sluts comment. And by the way, look up the word sluts in the dictionary. And don't look at the ceiling when I say that.
Yes,
look
I
up the
will.
word sluts in the dictionary.
He did not mean it in that way.
Well, yeah,
he
what-
meant it in the derogatory way.
What, he meant it in that if people don't clean behind their fridge, they are sexually...
No, women
All
don't
right,
clean behind the fridge.
Yeah, that they are sexually
That's what
loose.
he said.
Do you think that's... But that doesn't make any sense.
Well, he also thinks that women shouldn't be employed if they are of an age to...
This is irrelevant to the
pregnant.
question that we're talking about. He
Well,
said...
not really, that's his
Oh,
view.
God. Painful. If you look up sluts in the dictionary, it says slovenly woman. Look up the word slovenly, and it means dirty or untidy. So he was completely correct. It's just that we think it means something else. Now, yeah, that may not be what he meant when he said it. But to say that somebody who doesn't clean behind the fridge is sexually loose makes no sense at all. So to hold him to that is daft. One of the women present, Janice Atkinson, was not offended in any way, shape or form. Well, from the recording that I heard, neither was anybody there. There was no sharp intake of breath. Everybody just laughed because it was a joke. But the press have scented blood in the water with this guy, and they're not going to give up until they get a kill.